San Joaquin, with its rich culture and heritage, takes pride in having one of the most prominent architecture in the province of Iloilo. A landmark which stood more than a century old, is a staple to all San Joaquinans' traditions and culture, which we take pride in until today. Stood in the middle of the town's busy district is the San Joaquin Parish Church, or commonly known as San Joaquin Church. It is located in the southernmost province of Iloilo. The church was built in 1859 and completed in 1869 during the late Spanish colonial era by Augustinians. The Spanish colonization of our town contributed mostly to our traditions and culture when Magellan discovered the Philippines in 1521. But before the Spanish era, back in the 12th century, according to Maragtas legend, 10 Malayan datus, together with their families, warriors, and slaves, landed on the Andona Creek in Barangay Siwaragan in San Joaquin to search and settle for a new land. These datus, who are headed by Datu Puti, fled from the tyranny of Sultan Makatunaw in Borneo. At that time, Panay Island was inhabited by the Atis or Negritos. Instead of subduing the island, Datu Puti and his men made negotiations to King Marikudo and Queen Maniwang-Tiwang, the rulers of the Atis, in the exchange of a prize of saduk, a golden hat, and a golden necklace called managad, and other various gifts. The Atis then decided to live in the mountains, while the Malays took complete control of the lowland. Datu Puti gave the settlement to Datu Sumakwel, one of the chieftains, while he continued his travels. They lived in peace and prosperity for 300 years until the Spaniards came. The Spanish dominion developed the settlement into a pueblo or town, and one of the legacy they left was the San Joaquin Church, a Catholic church which became a notable landmark of San Joaquin up to this day. This church was erected by the help of famous sculptors, skilled masons, and celebrated craftsmen and painters from Mexico and Spain. Friar Tomas Santarén, a Spanish priest at the time, was a master architect of the church construction, together with his layman engineer Don Felipe Diaz. Upon hearing the victory of the Spanish against the Moroccans, Friar Tomas Santarén instructed the workers to create a bas-relief version of the Battle of Tetuan on the church facade. On February 4, 1986, Father Santarén died and was buried right under the altar of the church. The church is made of gleaming white coral stones found on the shores of San Joaquin, and limestones quarried from the mountains of Igparas. The facade is divided vertically by engaged columns and decorated with rosettes. The altars are made of carved limestone. The church is flanked to its right by a bell tower, and the other side is a ruined convent. Among its sprawling ruins are the oval-shaped well and kiln for baking bread. The pediment of San Joaquin Church on its facade reveals an intricate sculptural relief depicting the Spanish victory over Moroccan forces in the Battle of Tetuan. The mural captures the cavalry and infantry of the Spanish soldiers tearing down Moorish defense. The intricate sculpture entitled Rendition de Tetuan, which was written on the base of the facade, showed the visible expression of agony of the wounded soldiers carved on it. The unique features of the San Joaquin Church and its rich history made it to be one of the town's tourist spots and admired by several onlookers. The church was declared a national shrine in September 1977. Unfortunately, the church was later damaged by the Pacific War and a major earthquake. The people of San Joaquin, with the help of the government, restored the church during the 1980s. Later, in November 2001, the church was proclaimed as one of the cultural heritage churches of the Philippines by the National Historical Institute. Another restoration of the church was completed under the watch of the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. But sadly, the lime plaster which covered the facade chipped off in less than a year, which led to criticism of the National Historical Commission of the Philippines by the heritage conservationists. On January 19, 2019, the parish of San Joaquin celebrated the 150th anniversary of its completion under Fray Tomas Santarén. The parishioners, with assigned priest, helped together to restore the original designs, especially in the high altar and tabernacle, and to re-enhance the interior design of the church. All designs were carefully made to reflect the originals, and the church was solemnly dedicated by Reverend Jose Romeo O. Lazo on January 18, 2019. The church is located near the town plaza, overlooking the Sea of San Joaquin and surrounded by school, cafes, markets, and municipality. It's easier to find and explore this famous facade as one of the town's tourist spots today. San Joaquin Church is also found in some written literature in the National Library Archives, Iloilo Provincial, and even in the San Joaquin Local Government Unit. Even in some academic journals, San Joaquin Church is written for its rich history. Leaflets or internet sites are advocating this church for tourism purposes too. It was also shown in TV travel shows and social media posts today showcasing and admiring its amazing architecture. Fiestas, which are celebrated every August and January in the town, in one way of promoting its rich history and culture and religious faith. The church is also a staple of faith of most of San Joaquinans. A church, being a symbol of good and evil since Spaniards' colonization, it is also a symbol of hope to all San Joaquinans. As a cultural gem in the south of Iloilo, it's a must visit during August, December, and January to witness its festivities and to take a glimpse of this beautiful national landmark, rich in history and one of San Joaquin's pride. It is so easy to visit the San Joaquin Church. It is approximately 45 minutes away by car from Iloilo City. To get there by public transport, a visitor can ride a San Joaquin jeepney or a series bus to Antique from Mohon Terminal directly to San Joaquin Plaza. Thank you so much for watching. Ihoy San Joaquin!